And remember, we are our professor of pathology. I don't know, Dave, whether you remember this. Professor Gatei, in our medical, legal, ethical class, and we still remember this for our class. You will be charged for not doing what you should have done for the patient that you are attending. In pediatric ward, there could be 2-3 children coming and they are dying at the same time. You want to start kidogo, you leave this one, you go kidogo, you are not helping anybody. You must start, handle one patient and completely leave them stable. The rest, call for help so others come to attend to them. Because if you do kidogo kidogo and they all die, you will be in trouble. May the good Lord bless you all and wish you happy New Year. Thank you so much.
Ongeza makofi ya mama yetu tafadhali. I'm realizing she has mothered everyone. Is that true? Including our guests. Si ndio? Sasa unajua mama is now very senior and she's very happy and she has given very good remarks. I think we can thank her again. All right, next I'll go quite fast and introduce the father of the house, our dean, Professor Boniface Ganda. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together as I welcome the professor. Hey, makofi ya dean. Yaani unaonekana kwa pass list.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Now the PS, who was my student actually. You are talking of mothers and also fun. All the distinguished guests here were my children. Just a minute, this only here. Now, before I start, I would like to recognize their presence. Yes, Esron and Mr. Olunya. Asanteni sana for honoring this occasion. All other distinguished guests, karibuni. I'm sick from the way, that's why it came late. First, I would like to introduce members of our faculty who are around. If they can just stand up for the guests to see them. Professor Juliana will introduce you.
Say their names themselves so that you hear their voices. Ops Gynae, HOD.
Professor Gentry Jaguga, obstetrician gynecologist, head of department of reproductive health.
Dr. Linda Nyomte, consultant psychiatrist.
Professor James Obondi, orthopedic surgeon.
Sorry, pediatrics.
By remote control research.
Philip Nyanswa, Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of resource mobilization, quality assurance, partnership, research and innovation. Thank you.
We have here honorary pediatrician.
Hi. Congratulations, I'm so proud of all of you. So our lunch has worked, our prayers, our hard work, Cindy. Yes. Good job, Dr. Joy Muyonga. Go and shine. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. this is the first dinner that has been held in this university when everybody is happy. All the dinners we have held, people are very apprehensive. They're asking me, do you think I have passed? Because normally they are held before the results are released. This time, you all have the results. Congratulations. Number two, I also wish to congratulate you for working very hard. You shocked me. For the first time since I came to Zima, you all passed pediatrics. And you have always told me. It was not a group. And when I talked to you, you told me we really worked hard. And what made them work hard, Dr. Luga, is because they knew if they didn't pass the exam in December, they would wait for a whole year to graduate. And because the presidents want to come on in January 30th, they requested that they be included and included in the group that will be graduated. And that was graduated in January. And they succeeded doing that. Congratulations for that. The other thing I want to say is that because of all this, you are the first cohort of students who will be graduated at Uzima grounds. They will be not going to Nairobi anymore. We are going Kichwa kimeruka. So you'll be authed here. Now that will be on Thursday afternoon. And I know you'll be very hungry. From past experience, long time they used to give them rice. And then it disappeared. Recently they've been giving them only soda. Soda is nothing. When you have been seated there for 4 hours rehearsing, I would advise you people to carry packed lunch, because we'll give you only half an hour to have your lunch, and then the chairman of the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council, Professor Fred Were, will have an induction session with you, which might take quite a bit of time. It is a very intensive induction to tell you and show you how to become a doctor, a good doctor. The other thing I wanted to say, Wafula, I'll buy you another stethoscope. I know that was in light humor, but everyone you see has been slapped with that stethoscope. How comes it is only yours that got spoiled? None of them has ever gotten spoiled.
I think just sold me a fake one.
The person who had the worst was Hezron. When I joined Uzima, you know, he's a tall man. And he had this tendency of coming late. When everybody is in class and you see this tall guy walking, then I had to think how to tame him. He just realized he was the first person, at the end of it, was the first person who was attending class. Now, I didn't want to confront him because when we were in medical school, the late Dr. Rai, who was just gone, had a bad confrontation with one of our professors in Chiromo. That guy was called Professor Lemaloi. He's a physiologist. He was very, very rough and strict. If you missed, at 8 o'clock sharp, he would close the door. And he would stand there closing the door. Now Rai was the next person to enter, and he closed him. Rai told him, no, you cannot close me. You cannot close me out. And he said, you are late. Then he was pushing the door, and Rai is also pushing, and Rai pushed him inside and attended the class. Now I said, if I do that to this tall guy, I might find myself down. So I decided to be more diplomatic. So I used to cane him with the stethoscope 1-2 times, but then he gave me a good result. Sometimes we teachers are also bad. When someone comes late, you don't even ask him why he comes late. I realized he was late in the areas where they were, and sometimes our teachers would keep them for long. So you understand. Otherwise, the only thing which I can add, I said I was going to talk shortly, is about the circle. Doctors develop through the circle. Try getting a loan through the bank, then you will know what getting a loan through the bank is and getting a loan through circle is. These are people, you can, it's actually, all of us have developed through circle. Asante sana. I'm sick, I don't want to talk much.
All right, thank you so much, Professor, for buying me a stethoscope. We are coming to the tail end, but before I introduce the next person, allow me to just acknowledge the presence of the Chair of the Public Service Board for Kisumu County and one of our favorite lecturers in 5th year, Professor Obondi. Let's appreciate Professor Obondi is there with us. Right, so from here, I'll not come back here. Allow me to introduce the Deputy Vice Chancellor in charge of research, resource mobilization, partnerships, and all other things to just come to speak to us, and he will take over the program from there. Asante sana, karibu.
We shared a dormitory, a hostel with Wafula in Prague, so he thinks I'm his intimate. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the Vice Chancellor and the Uzima University fraternity to welcome our PS and to thank him for honoring the university with his presence in this important dinner. A few months ago last year, I received a call from one Dr. Hezron on Monday, and it's like, Philip, you people need to think about a second graduation, because if these guys don't graduate, they will be out for almost 2 years. 2 years, and that's going to be a big loss to them and to the university. So we're trying to figure out, then my partner in crime, Professor Juliana, said, now we have to come up with a strategy. How do we get these guys to graduate or to get a second graduation? So we walk into the VC's office and we make a proposal. And by that time we were jumping out to Siaya to go to Ugunja for a medical camp. And we were not going to attend the management. It was tabled and approved as a second graduation. Then something happened. To get a guest, chief guest. And the chief guest took a bit of time to get, given that Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, who was coordinating that, also left us unannounced. Then we have to come up with another strategy. How do we get the chief guest? We tried going around visiting people. Then one evening, I mentioned to the founder of the university that you have been coordinating this with the patron. The patron is not there. So you don't need to go through somebody else. Call directly. And they told me, go get the phone number. By evening, I called my other partner in crime and he sent me the number. I'm not going to mention his name. And we went and I asked him to call. He didn't call. He said, na hapa tutaumia. There are people who you cannot push. Then one evening I reached out to Ajim Wonyamayanga, Governor Rengo, through a short text, and he says noted. Then they go to Mombasa and they are all over the place. This is a guy who's coordinating for us. Then on Wednesday we see him instead. I say, hey, have we forgotten our staff? He says, okay. By evening he's giving us a call. You're coming to see His Excellency about the date. And here we are today. Because of those many events, then now we started putting things together administratively through the Dean's office and the academic division. And you guys, you are lucky folks. You weathered the storm of COVID. It was really hard. It has not been easy. You weathered the storm of fee. It wasn't easy. So what can't you weather? I watched you celebrate your appearance on the pass list. I have those videos. I was there. I took it live. I didn't believe I was seeing the same people I'm seeing here today. They ran crazy. They shouted, and I think they lost their voices. Others were crawling and crying at the same time. The joy that comes with that excellence, that victory, the pass list, and I was seeing the passion in you that you're going to transmit to your patients, because your patients are coming to you at the hour of their great need, and they need love, they need care. They do not know what you got. They don't want to know what you got in the medical school. They just want to see that they are walking home reassured, they're walking home well. Some may just need a word of encouragement. Others may just need some healing touch. Please be patient with your patients, because your patients are never patient. And so as you take your history, as you look into their faces and examine them, take your time. One day I was in class teaching the senior clinical officers, and say, you know, Mwalimu, there's a lot of work. And so you come at 10 to take out your shift, and the queue is long. So you send everybody to the lab. By the time they're coming back, you're gone. The next person is coming in to deal with them. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a great responsibility. Let the light of Uzima University shine everywhere you go. Luciat Lux Vestra. May God bless you all, and congratulations. May I invite on stage Dr. Obonde, the chair of Kisumu what? Public Service what? Board. And you know why? Chair. Karibu.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, first of all, I would like to say that I'm honored to be here today. Yeah, this is my first attendance of this occasion, similar occasion. I've never been attending the finalist parties. I'm very happy to have my colleagues here, Dr. Lonya. He was 5th year when I was 1st year in the University of Nairobi. Dr. Juliana was medical officer when I was an intern in pediatrics. That's the time Dr. Misori was a consultant. No, Dr. Misori was in Homa Bay and came as our PM. Our PS was the union leader, the secretary of the union. Some time back, feel welcome. And even when we were jailed, I organized a massive demonstration in Kisumu, remember? I'm the one who led that. After 2 days, they were released. Anybody with a good memory can remember that. And CEO of Yaramogi, I worked with him in the Department of surgery. He came to us the other day. As union, now we are on the other side, we are trying to see how the doctors can benefit. Actually, doctors have come a long way, that's what I can say. We have had plethora of issues to address. And I'm very happy that when the CS was there, they did a lot of collective bargaining agreement with the government, which are still haunting us up to now. And many doctors have really benefited from the same. And we are very happy. Thank you very much, PS. You did a lot of work and we really supported you up to now. We are still giving you the support. For the student, I think we are, first of all, I need to congratulate you for the performance. We have traveled, every time the student in Uzima used to do exam, they have to go to the board again to do another board exam. So we really have gone a long way. And we are happy that this time you people are not going to do the same. What I would say is that we have done a lot of mentorship. And some of you we must have not done well because we have been tough. I'm a very strict person, in fact. Because my two children have qualified in Uzima, and they are now doctors. That one I cannot deny, I refuse to say now. I have two medical officers. Yes, they are now working around in the county government of Kisumu. I found them working before I became the chairman. So nobody can say that's a conflict of interest. I found them working there. And I would like to say that I'm very, very grateful to Dr. Rai, the late. We worked with him very well. And in fact, when my time came, because I was the director of COSEXA, College of Surgeons and Central East Africa, I was the director. I'm the one who started the college. So when now the college was starting and I was retiring, he told me come back. And the county recalled me for another 2 years. That one also cannot be denied. And again now, I've rejoined the county to streamline. My main agenda was not just to go and become the chairman of the board, but to streamline the welfare of the doctors. That's where I'm going. Yeah, we are working very hard to place the people who go for training and finish their training, and then they remain as medical officers for 7 years. I've seen that. We are going through that, and those people will be placed where they belong. Even the one who were employed during Corona, you mentioned Corona, which was very dramatic around our time in 2019. The UHCs, they are there around 500. We want to put them P&P. I think we are going to do that before March. Yeah, I'm working hard. I'm more of a unionist. I'm more of a unionist in that board than the unionists themselves. Yeah, because they have visited me in the office and we have assured them what we are going to do. I'm pleased to say that. I don't want to talk too much because this is not a day for politics. I've also played politics sometime back in life. But when you talk politics, sometimes you think these audience are your supporters. So you can continue talking. No, that's not the thing I'm going to do now. So I would like to say that I'm very, very grateful for the doctors. I wish you a good future, work hard. Every time we have been teaching you, training you, we always tell you about medical legal issues, which you should refrain from committing, And we have also told you how to do your practice, which I think will lead you throughout. We have a lot of experience. We have seen a lot of things happening. We have seen doctors being sued for small things. Now, now the patients are now very well informed more than the doctors. Because when you are treating them, they Google. When you make your diagnosis and you tell them you're suffering from this, then they go and Google. They have more information and they know how they can go about suing you for a small thing. treatment if you give them wrong drugs with the diagnosis you made. So Googling, I mean, social media is a very good thing, but it's not supporting the doctors at all. Doctors should be wary of it, how they handle patients. We must learn our practical work, proper history taking, and physical examination. Because our patients nowadays are complaining that the doctors, when you go to see them, they are Googling first. You sit there, they are Googling, going through, then they tell you, you have malaria. You know, you have to know what really differential diagnosis, where the patient comes from, so many things, before you talk of malaria. Because fever is not just malaria itself. Fever can also be viral, isn't it? And those are things you have to do. And with that, I would like to say I'm very, very grateful for giving this opportunity to express myself gratefully to you people. I'm very happy and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Yes, we are grateful to welcome you back here. You are one of us all along those days when we had a lot of challenges with the government, but now we are happy that you are settled. But we also feel that you should be helping doctors. When you are there, doctors should also be benefiting from your presence. Yeah, most of them, like some of these doctors who will be here, also can be employed in the national government. And that should be your endeavor as we sit here. When you go back to Nairobi, think about our people here. Yeah, don't just go there and then give you so much and then you forget about us. Thank you very much and feel welcome. Dr. Lunya, thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's give another round of applause to Prof. Our new employee in the house. May I have the honor to invite Dr. Hezron Omondi Molo 001.
Thank you, Professor Nyaso. Today I came with my boss. Good evening, everyone. Well, through the chief guest, Dr. Umoluga, the keynote speaker, David Olunya, all the senior lecturers, senior leaders present, including union leadership, KMA leadership, and the people who are celebrating today, the class of 2025. Good evening again. First, my name is Dr. Hezron Omondi Omolo. I need to say that. But in this institution, I'm known numerically because I'm 001, the very first student of the institution. I like saying that like Genesis chapter 1, where they say when the university was without form and void and emptiness filled the face of the university. And then the bishop said, let there be students. So I was admitted. This was on the 27th of July 2012. And while I was sitting there, I was asked, how did you land in Uzima? So I was asked how I landed in Uzima. So I probably need to give you the journey, how it has been up to now. Maybe you may learn a thing or two. A while back, in the month of April, 12th I lost my brother, 13th I lost my sister, and 14th I lost my father. So during that period I was devastated, and I made a resolution that I needed to do something health related. Interestingly, all of them died less than a kilometer from here in the old Nyanza Referral Hospital, which is now known as KCH. So while I was called to do other things in the University of Nairobi, I decided that I was going to do anything that is health related. So I joined Portree's KMTC. My interest was simple, that the pain we had gone through as a family, nobody should ever experience a half or a quarter of that pain. It was a big loss to us as a family. So I joined Portree's MTC, And there were options. I was told, why can't you go to the university? Why can't you join TTC? But that time I was joining Portris MTC, I was joining as a parallel student. And the people who were able to facilitate my learning had just passed on. So I'm in Portris MTC, I don't have somebody to provide, and I have to study, and I have to pass. So what happened is that while at Portris MTC, the only money I left home with was 6,000. The school fee was 137,000 per year. So every evening I would go to port to carry fertilizer on my back, and then go back to school to study during the day. So at night I was at the port working, during the day I was in school studying. And this happened for a long period of time until we got to the final year. Now during that final year, there was somebody famously known as Dr. Kigondo, who was the then director of Kenya Medical Training Colleges. So he said that nobody is going to do exam when they have FRS. I was amongst the people who had FRS. During that period, I was also in the Christian Union. So that in the finalist dinner, or in the finalist service, like, you know, people gathering to pray for the finalists, I was the one asked to preach. And I preached from a verse in Isaiah that I cannot bring you from to the point of birth and fail to let you be born. Everybody believed and everybody was going to do exam but me. So I was not able to do exam. Later on, something happened. I started doing, I did part of the exam and went back to do the other exams that I had missed. But remember, this is because I was working part-time to be able to raise the school fee. Now, this explains how I landed into Zima. When I was down and could not afford school fee, and I was praying somewhere called Shady Beach in Mombasa, somebody sent me money. Some of you who are Catholics may know. It's called Father Edmond Onyango Bura. I'd never interacted with him, I'd never known him, and he said, I think you need this money than I do. So that money was used to pay the school fee, and I was allowed to do exam. And that was the beginning of our friendship with Father Edmond Onyango Bura. So we became very, very close friends from that time to date. Now I know he's in Koru, he was in Bolo the other day. Because of that friendship, we have kept in touch. So from Portris, I could have, because I missed some exam, I was not posted for internship. So I was posted a year later. This was a time I was asking God, why am I the only one remaining behind? But this was very important for me. Had I gone a year earlier, there are people I would not have met. Had I gone a year later than the time I went, there are people whom I would not have met. But God timed my movement and my journey to be in Portris, in Kijabe, at such a time, like the time I was, to meet specific people. Now, while in Kijabe, I was working as a clinical officer intern. I believe that I was very good at my job, but Dr. Luga is here, will be able to tell whether I was good or I was just, I'm just thinking that I was good. But that is the time our paths crossed with Dr. Umo Luga, who is now my boss today. And that is important to me to share with you, because there are people you are going to meet in your life journey that will transform your life for the rest of your life, or that will put you in places that you would otherwise would not have been. So during the internship, he found me in the internship, but he was an MO, I was a CEO, and we connected. Probably we were a little stubborn, and most of the time our calls tended to align. One of the very remarkable things I would remember was this night somebody came and was speaking, telling the history of their condition in Kikuyu. For around 3 minutes the person spoke, and when they put a full stop, the PS started responding also in a Luo. And then the guy said, but I'm not a Luo, and he said yes. So There used to be very nice calls that we used to share together. But while there, the reason it was not only to meet Dr. Luga. There is somebody that I met there called Lay James Reeves. Now, Lay James Reeves was a short-term mission staff from Australia that was working in Kijabe. But this day he called me and asked me, why did you choose to be a surgeon? And I said, I'm not a surgeon. Oh, so who are you? Why did you become a doctor? I said, I'm not also a doctor. So who are you? I'm a clinical officer. What is a clinical officer? I mean, it was very hard explaining what a clinical officer is, because I had to start talking about patient assistant, physician assistant in the US, patient assistant. I mean, a lot of stories just to explain what a clinical officer is. And then the last question was, would you want to be a doctor? And I said yes, but he didn't respond. The following day, Kumbe, he went to consult with the wife. And then he came back again and asked, what would you need to be a doctor? And I explained, and he didn't commit then. He went back and consulted with the wife, Cheryl Reeves, and then he came back and said, we are willing to pay 300,000 for your tuition until you get whatever you want. And that was, remember, I missed the exams. So had I done, if I could have gotten the opportunity to do the exams, I would have done internship a year earlier when Reeves was not there. I would also have done an internship a year earlier when the PS was not there. But my movement was timed that I had to meet specific people, commanded blessings around my God-mapped journey. So this time then, Lay commits. In my excitement, the then head of medical education and research was a lady who is a Luo. So I was excited, this is a miracle, I'm going to tell her, and I think everybody was happy. Dr. Luga was happy, Dr. Tobias Otieno was happy, very many people who are from our community, because this was not very common to people from our side. Most of the opportunities were going to somewhere else. So when I told him, I told her, she told me that you are not a doctor, you cannot be a doctor, you will never be a doctor. So that day I could not do the call. I left the same day. I went to the University of Nairobi and cried, and I met Professor Mwanda when he was closing the office, and I said, tell me why I cannot be a doctor, here are my documents. And he gave me the admission the same day. So when I went with the admission letter back to Kijabe, the guy said, yes, I'm going to pay your school fee, but I have to go back to Australia, then send money, because I didn't have the money. I don't have the money here. So he went back to Australia, and this opportunity was lost because the students in the University of Nairobi were already progressing with their classes. So I came back ready, hoping to proceed with my studies, but looking for opportunities. We applied in Gulu. I was having a letter of admission to Maseno, but again, Father Edmond came. That there is a university, the Catholic Church is starting here. I want to go take you there to go and see it. If you like, you can also be admitted there. And that is how I first stepped in Uzima. Through the same person who helped me in my final year and now connecting me to this university. On the 27th of July, 2012, I was admitted. So I became the Adam. I don't know who the Eve was of Uzima University. And now we are here today. When we started, we were 24. Because of the tough academic life in med school, we ended 12, by 5th year we were 12. We were 12 of us. And then when we were doing the final qualifying exam, we were only 9. Basically, a seventh of the people graduating, or rather, the people that are that would be graduating the next few days. So we were very few. But we did work very hard. Now, during that journey, there were so many challenges. While I was a student, I also recruited other students to join. I recruited Marshall Bondi to join when he left Uganda. I recruited Martin also to join Uzima from Egerton because I was also a marketing person for Uzima, because every time I talked about Uzima, people would ask, is it a church? Where is that church? Because nobody knew about Uzima University anywhere. Now, the problem was there were also very few lecturers. Okay, there were very many lecturers, but over time there were challenges because starting a medical university only as a medical university can be very strenuous. So some left. I had to also recruit lecturers to teach us. You know, I'm a student, I'm also a marketing officer, but I'm also recruiting lecturers to join. And I recruited, including the PS, to come and teach us physiology. It was, you know, in the university, the way you do MBCHB, but you also do physiology. So it was a physiologist who was also teaching us physiology. But it was so tough, and I had to have push and pull with the administration. They were not as friendly as they are today. But we were also not very, very weak. So we pushed. And there was a time I had recruited, out of 17 lecturers, 13 were brought by me. And then somebody threatened, that, you know, we will expel you. Then I said I will go with my lecturers. And so anytime, and my lecturers were also very loyal, because during that time, the numbers were not as big as they are today. So raising even the money to pay lecturers was an uphill task for the university. So when they are not paid, they would come to me and say, hey, by the way, hatujalipwa 3 months, fanya kitu. So naenda nafinya kidogo, wanalipwa pia kidogo, and then that was the journey. So we graduated, 9 of us. By then we were constituent of Catholic University of Eastern Africa. We graduated in Kwea, 9 of us. I think there are 3 other cohorts that did not graduate in Uzima. The 5 others will be graduating in Uzima, because by then we were constituent of Catholic University. But it has been quite a journey. That is what I want to say. There were times that I would stand in one corner, and I knew everybody in the compound. Everybody, I could tell, that one is Davino walking there, that is Dr. Bernadette. Like, I would tell everybody in the I would identify anybody in the compound. But right now, it's so big that you may not be able to identify the people within the compound. But you people are very dear to my heart. I've seen the suffering, I've seen the better days, and when I saw the last cohort, being posted for internship a year after their completion, it bothered me. And I took it personally to even compute the cost-benefit analysis. How much 63 people earning 206,400, the CBA rate, multiplied by 63 for a period of 12 months. And I showed Dr. Juliana and Philip here that this is what they are going to lose if they fail to graduate with this coming graduation, so that by July, when we are doing posting for internship, they are ready for posting. Anyway. And so I called Dr. Juliana. When Juliana said, let me talk to Philip, I called Philip before Juliana called Philip. And when they were going to talk to Father Cosmas, I called Father Cosmas before both of them. So by the time they were going, the path was smooth, and so now you are likely to be posted with the rest of us, or with the rest of the group. So finally, few things I want to say. You will meet very many people on the way. How you interact with them is very important, because right now, your network is going to be a net worth. What I did tell you is that I was only given 300,000 sponsorship by late James Reeves, but there was a deficit of around 200,000 plus upkeep and other things. I needed to do a proposal for my scholarship. I was limited in English and other things to be able to win this scholarship. So we start with Dr. Oumo Luka, who is my PS today. He wrote the proposal that gave me the scholarship that took me from a second year to fifth year, the topper, because of that interaction. Now, you people are here, I know MBCHP are members of MSAU as Medical Student Union. Do you know who did the first constitution of MSAU? Yeah, by then, we borrowed heavily from Sam because he's the former president, two-term president of MSAU. So when we wanted to start MSAU, I sat with him and we wrote the first constitution of MSAU, Medical Student Association of Uzima University. So that constitution that we are using today, 70% is a brainchild of Dr. Umolu. 70% of it. So that is how deeply intertwined these things are. So I like saying that even when he's my boss, he was my classmate, only that he was studying as I was sitting and drawing from the wealth of knowledge from him. So we have become close, but because of how we interacted, the first interaction, the people you are going to meet during internship, the residents you are going to interact with. My first employment when I left internship and many others was also through him. When I was in my last week of internship, I was called for a job. I don't want to say that I didn't do the last 2 weeks, but I didn't finish the last 2 weeks because the job was waiting and I was going to learn on the job. So as you live here today, the most important thing, the most important message is networking, collaborating with your colleagues and your seniors. You don't know which other doors this will open for you. Today, as we are here, I'm a board director of that KMTC that denied me opportunity to do the final qualifying exam, the irony of life. When my family suffered, and I thought that it was professional negligence, my first appointment in the ministry was to head the professional standards and human resource for health in this country. So that problem that I thought I saw that made my family members die, I was given by God to sort it out. Whether I sorted it out, it is a work in progress. And today, I am working as head of infrastructure, projects and grants at the Ministry of Health under the State Department of for Medical Services. So you know where the letter of appointment came from. And so if I continue speaking more than this, I may be posted to Porter.
Let's give 001 a round of applause. We have been joined by Professor Pam Sanjeev. Prof, just wave where you are. Let's welcome Professor. At this juncture, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to invite our keynote speaker, Professor David Oloch Olunya, to have his 15 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I have the opportunity of turning around and looking at people. And I'm a neurological surgeon. And you all heard about the Glasgow Coma Scale. You are beginning to eye-open to speech. Sooner or later, it's going to be eye-opening to pain. Can everybody where they are stand up first and reach for the sky, and stretch. Fantastic, fantastic. That is supposed to get what? Circulation going. Because whatever I'm going to tell you here, You will probably say, you may sit. Whatever I'm going to tell you here, within the next 90 seconds, you'll forget. But at least you remember that Luchi asked you to stand up and stretch. I have been called many things today. I was feeling very important. Professor, doctor. But if you looked at the program, it's actually Mr. That's not a misnomer. I had the privilege of doing surgery in the United Kingdom, and if and when you attain the fellowship in whichever college, you cease to be a doctor, you become a Mr. And that was just the other day in 1990. The thing about it is, the surgeons felt that they were more important than the other people who just thought about things. Sorry, Juliana. But the Mr. thing continued. So I hence go by the name of Mr. David Oluoch Ilunya. Distinguished faculty mentors, colleagues in the medical profession, and most importantly, the graduating doctors of Uzima University. Good evening. It's a great honor for me to stand before you today in Kisumu, a city that continues to show that meaningful medical progress can be built right here, when purpose is matched with commitment. To the graduating class, congratulations, and I'll also say congregations. Today marks a transition, not just in the title, but in responsibility. A framework for your journey. Let's see. Before I share my reflections, allow me to frame what I hope you will remember long after this dinner. I'm feeling hungry also, but I think I'll try and manage. As newly qualified doctors, you will be defined not only by what you know, but how you practice, why you serve, and who you become under pressure. Everything I'll speak today will be distilled into 7 enduring principles. Principles shaped by practicing medicine in Kenya, by serving the Lake region, and initiatives such as the Kisumu Neuroscience Initiative, which proves that excellence can be built anywhere where vision leads the way. If you remember nothing else from this address, remember this one word: healers. H as in hotel, E as in echo, A as in alpha, L as in Lima, E as in echo, R as in Romeo, and S as in Sierra. That alphabet is very important because if you dictate and you say A, or you say D, could be G, could be E, and if you are giving some information, it can be misconstrued. So in your spare time, just learn Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, etc. up to Zulu. The 7 pillars of medicine. H as in hotel, humility. Medicine humbles you. Ask for help. Learn continuously. Let your patients teach you. Humility protects your patients and strengthens your practice. E, echo, ethics. Your integrity will be tested in real-world situations. Do the right thing, even when it is difficult, inconvenient, or costly. Advocacy. Be a voice for those who cannot speak for themselves. Stand up for a patient's dignity, access to care. Lifelong learning. Graduation marks the beginning. The beginning. The beginning. Not the end of learning. Medicine also evolves. Stay curious, stay informed. E, empathy. Treat patients as people, not cases. Healing begins when the patient feels heard and respected. Resilience. Medicine is demanding. Rest when needed. Seek support early. Protect your well-being. Because you see, if you keep working, there's something called burnout. See, we've got software people here who can tell you all about mental health. My son has just done his master's in counseling psychology, and the fact that there's so much happening now, the information is coming so quickly. When we were younger and had more hair and it was a different color, we used to write letters. When I was filling in the book there, somebody was giving me a pen. I said, no, I use a writing instrument. But I don't pencil. It has got ink, which I have to fill every so often. And what I write with it, it has to dry. Now you imagine if you are, sorry, don't say it. When and if you wanted to get the attention of a young lady when you were younger, you would have to write a letter. After you've written a letter, if you were lucky and you had a friend who had some cologne or perfume, put a few drops in it. Then you seal it in an envelope. Then you write back at the back of the envelope, Sierra, Whiskey, Alpha, Lima, Kilo. Sierra, Alpha, Whiskey, Lima, Kilo. SWALK. Who can decipher that for me? Come on. Sealed with a loving kiss. Now, once you've done that, you've licked. That's done. And you know nowadays you press send. We'll go to the post box, and as you're putting it inside there, you say, hey, it is going. It's gone. You have to wait for how long for it to get, if it's a local one? No, it takes about a week before it gets there. After it gets there, if you are lucky and she opens it and reads it, then she'll first of all read it, then read it, then read it again. Then after a week, she might reply. 2 weeks. If she replies, another week. That's 3. That is one interaction. You guys, within a space of 90 minutes, you go and then you done what? You're blocked. So, protect your well-being. We were able to layer things. Yours is quicker. The pressures on you are quicker and is more. So be careful about your well-being. Service. Serve faithfully wherever you are posted. Wherever you are posted. For some communities, your presence alone is healing. Now, I will digress basically and talk about the Kisumu Neuroscience Initiative because it's very close to my heart and I happen to be the patron of that initiative, and that is Healers in Action in the Lake region as an example. For many years, patients in the Western Kenya with neurological conditions had limited options. We had to travel to Nairobi or go to Eldoret to care. The Kisumu Neuroscience Initiative was founded on one such belief. And the twinning of Kisumu Neuroscience Initiative and Kisumu University is paramount. The people who come from there, from Atlanta, in the US, Columbus, Ohio, in the US, Virginia, in the US, of course I'm mentioning the US all the time because there's somebody who was a child of this soil whose father was from Alego, called Barack Hussein Obama. So I have to mention, I know there's a different person who's in charge now, but that doesn't matter. That's the US. Then there's also people from Europe, from Switzerland, from Germany, and of course there's some people from Nairobi who come and help also with the Kisumu Research Initiative. But through this initiative, specialized neurological care is delivered closer to home. When we're doing this initiative, people come all the way from Garissa because they hear it is being advertised. You talked about, you were saying it's like a joke. Who was it who was saying it was a joke that you want to have a CEO? You are saying it's a joke. No, it's not a joke. It's serious. When COSEXA was starting off, and you are doing all that for the general surgery. Our prayer is to be able to get cosmetic surgery, neurosurgery here. See, you have employed a neurosurgeon for Jaramogi. Yes, you've got two. Fantastic. There are next door neighbor, Aga Khan has sponsored someone who's finished also. County is doing the same. And the one from who is in Uganda is doing his electric. Yeah, excuse me. So referral networks are also strengthened. Healthcare workers are trained locally. Innovation is built within the region. So initiative proves that excellence can grow here in partnership with Ozone University. So the privilege, the responsibility and purpose of being a doctor, and most importantly, the graduation doctors class, I'll say it again, congregation, you have earned this moment. You're not wearing white coat. Who's got a white coat? Somebody saw the white coat, but it's only one person. Anyway, you have earned the white coats. You have arrived here through years of discipline, long nights, missed family events, financial strain, emotional exhaustion, and moments that when you wondered if you were strong enough to continue, but you did, and you were here. Decisions that will affect generations. That level of trust is rare in society. In Kenya, and particularly here in Kisumu and the Lake region, being a doctor places you among the most trusted voices in the community. When you speak, people listen. When you act, people follow. Never, never, never take that lightly. Never forget that every patient encounter is a sacred matter. Remember where you came from. Many of you are here as a first generation doctors. Some of you are first generation university graduates. Some come from villages where access to healthcare meant a long walk, a border ride, or simply a prayer. You have seen illness not as theory, but have lived reality. You have seen mothers delivering at home because of the clinic was too far. Children missing out of school because of preventable diseases. Families selling land for hospital bills. That lived experience is not a weakness, it is your strength. Do not allow medical training to disconnect you from your humanity or your roots. Let your background shape your compassion, your advocacy, and your priorities. Never become the kind of doctor who forgets and what it feels like to be on the other side of the desk. How many of you people have been admitted in hospital? Has anybody not been admitted in hospital? So all of you have been admitted in hospital. You have not been admitted? To be on the receiving end. It is 11 years last month. I had what do you call it? Acute lead poisoning. I was shocked. When 0001 was talking about his path for guidance and how the good Lord delivered him and made sure he was here, when that happened to me, I was assaulted, firearm, and what I felt, I wasn't scared. I was angry. I was angry because someone thought it right to try and snuff me out when he's looking at my face. And the thing about it, I was in the intensive care unit with patients I had operated on the previous week. When I was in ICU, I wanted to pass water. I felt I needed to go. And I covered it. The bullet passed through very important areas, but it missed the important areas. And the fact that I had the privilege of being a patient in that intensive care, I was able to appreciate even more what it is that you're offering. So, compassion for what it is that you do, the secrets that you have, the privilege that you begin to do, and all that is to competence is essential. But character is non-negotiable. It is non-negotiable. When your patients will assume you as patients will assume you're intelligent, what they will discover you is your character. They will remember how you spoke to them, whether you listened, whether you treated them with dignity, whether you explained, reassured, and respected. Clinical excellence without empathy is incomplete medicine. In the ward, you'll encounter stress, fatigue, frustration. You will see the system fail. You will experience shortages of staff, supplies, and time. In those moments, character is revealed. Choose integrity when no one is watching. Choose honesty when it's uncomfortable. Choose kindness even when you are tired. Your reputation will follow you longer than your grades. I said medicine will humble you. Let me be honest with you. There will be days when you do everything right and the patient still dies. You'll make the mistake that keeps you awake at night. You'll feel inadequate, overwhelmed, or afraid. These moments do not mean that you're a bad doctor. It means that you are human. You have been Adam. Medicine will humble you. Let it. Learn to say, I don't know. I need help. I made a mistake. Seek mentorship, seek wisdom, seek counsel. Arrogance harms patients. Humility saves lives. Protect ethics with your complex system. You are entering a healthcare system under pressure. You will face ethical challenges, pressure to cut corners, temptation to compromise standards, influence for politics, profits, or power. There may be moments when doing the right thing is costly. In these moments, remember, your license can be taken, your job can be replaced, your integrity, once lost, is almost impossible to recover. Be the doctor who refuses corruption, advocates for the patient, speaks up when something is wrong. Kenya does not need more doctors. Kenya needs ethical doctors. Serve where you are needed, not only where it is comfortable. Many of you will dream of specialization, urban practice, opportunities abroad, and so on. But the challenge is for you today. Do not measure success by the income or location. Some of the greatest impact you will ever make will be in the rural health center, county hospital, or resource limited home. Where resources are few, your presence matters more. If you do not stay forever, even if you do not stay forever, serve faithfully where you are posted. Every patient deserves your best, regardless of your geography or social status. Lifelong learning is not optional. Today you graduate, but you are not stopping learning. Commit yourself to continuous professional development, evidence-based medicine, critical thinking. Take care of your own health. Doctors are very good at taking care of others and terrible at taking care of themselves. I asked you to stand up and stretch. How many of you actually do formal exercise in a week? Formal. 1, 2. Only these guys, you guys don't exercise. You don't exercise. No, but formal. Immediately, I am going to walk. Afula. Now you see, why I picked up Afula is because when I did a small talk for them as their class, I asked them, you guys have got ABCHB. I said, what does ABCHB stand for? And I told them today, I want to ask you to tell you guys what MBCHB stands for.
Thank you, Mr. Olunya. MBCHB stands for Medicinae Baccalaureus Chirugai Baccalaureus. MBCHB Medicinae Baccalaureus Chirugai Baccalaureus.
I'm paying your name because I want to ask you to come here. Yeah, what are you? You have to stick. Now, he does not know what I want to ask him to do. Do you exercise? What exercises do you do? You jump. I hope you don't jump at night. Now, when I was young and I had my hair a different color, I actually played rugby for Mamba Rugby Football Club in 1978. I was in the first team then, but I don't mention. Some of the things that you had to do was core exercises. I know he's looking very smart, but I'm going to put him under pressure. He's going to do a core exercise with me. We're going to do some press-ups. I talked about health. You do not need to do much to this issue of health. It can be very close. You don't have to go to a gym or pay a lot of money. Even in small areas. I do this 3 times a week. I won't do all the exercises because I'm not sweating. Bad manners. But I shall give you an example of some of the things that I do. You can try it at home. We're talking about health. Watch. This is my fall-out. You must think I'm crazy. So, upward body strength. So we're just going to do press-ups. I'll show you the different types that you can do. All right? You can stand up at the back if you want to see That is the diamond.
That's one.
That's a diamond. Okay? Then you look downward facing dog. Then we do side to side.
All right.
Then knee up. And then this is the kawaida one. That's one. You mentor a student. You advocate. You challenge. Never forget where you started.
first patient who thanked you, the life you helped save, the reason you chose this path. Medicine is demanding, but also deeply meaningful. You witness birth, healing, recovery, and sometimes death. You will stand with families in the most vulnerable moments. That is an extraordinary honor. Graduates of Wisdom University, doctors. Today, Kenya gains more than doctors. It gains healers, advocates, leaders, and servants. Wear your title with humility. Practice your skills with excellence. Serve your patients with compassion. And live your calling with a purpose. May you never lose your humanity. May you never compromise your integrity. And may you always remember that at the heart of medicine is not disease, but people. As you live here today, remember this one word: healers. Be humble in practice. Be ethical in conduct. Be advocates for your patients. Commit to lifelong learning. Learn with empathy. Build resistance. Let service define your career. Medicine is privilege, rooted in integrity, driven by excellence, sustained by empathy, and fulfilled through service. Congratulations, doctors. Remember, healer's commitment. H, hotel, humility. I will practice with openness and respect. Ethics, echo. I will guard my integrity fiercely. Advocacy. I will stand up for my patients and communities. Lima, L, lifelong learning. I will commit to excellence and growth. E, empathy. I will treat every patient with dignity. R, resilience. I will care for myself as I care for others. And S, Sierra, for service. I will serve faithfully wherever I am called. Thank you. And may your journey be one of service, wisdom, and impact. Let's be upstanding to appreciate our guest speaker. Thank you so much.
A number of times that we call you Prof because that's what we know, because you profess some things. Good evening. Good evening, doctors. Good evening. Yeah, I have nothing much to say except to congratulate you for the journey that you've gone through. It's been a milestone. I'm sure you're very proud of yourselves this evening, and for the days that are going to come. Your life has changed forever. Your life has changed because there's going to be a lot of expectations, and that's the thing with life, that the bar keeps shifting, and the bar has shifted. The moment you get your license, get to the hospital, the bar has shifted. That's the bar that Mr. Olunya spoke about, and many people have talked about, and I don't think I have the disrespect to dilute anything that anyone has said. My name is Oma Oluga, and 16 years ago, actually 15 years ago, I was seated just like you, listening to people. wondering what the future would hold, what the next day would be like. And 15 years later, we're here. 12 years ago, I was teaching at Uzima physiology. But physiology is a beautiful subject. So people who just cut must know that the power to balance, homeostasis, lies with physiology, not a hacksaw. But that's a joke for physicians and surgeons. And the world is led by thoughts. The world is led by thoughts, but only if those thoughts are translated into action. So you must be the physician and the surgeon at the same time. Otherwise you will be here arguing who is greater between the two, which you shouldn't. Tonight, as I speak with you, I think I've been reminded by a lot of journeys I've passed through the hands of everyone in this room, including yourselves. Prof. Jaguga here was my teacher. Dr. Ganda was my teacher. Obondi has been a good friend. I've also known his family. He's also a close friend of my cousin, Dr. Tendo, who is in this town. I've been encouraged by the journey of your DVC. All these people. Juliana was in GTRH for the longest time. I was selected to be the Secretary General. And Ezra has told you the story. This guy was my foot soldier and I was Secretary General. Many of you have been part of my journey. And that's how life is. Mr. Lunya here, we used to have breakfast. And I just think, I don't know, 2 weeks or 3 weeks before Baba passed on, him and I were on the same table having breakfast in Baba's dining room. It's been an emotional journey. We were with him in India when we went to bring the body. So life is really connected. It's really connected. And that's the beautiful thing about it, that you learn. Hi. Yeah. So Pama is a physician like me, he's a cardiologist. I'm very interested in cardiology. We interacted a bit when he was just leaving IMED and I was getting into IMED. So you will meet, it's a small community. Vitalis already told you that. So there's nowhere you're going, by the way. If you think you are done and dusted, you're not. And it doesn't matter whether you live here to be a politician like Boni Alwale, or you go into research. Some people say that they want to be amorphous into NGO and do all this policy stuff. You're going nowhere. You chose a path that commits you for life into being with the same people. The fellas who didn't like me in medical school, I'm the PS now. Like, really, yeah. And so as long as God gives us life and health, we are one family, one team. That's the reason I came, actually. Just to tell you that we are one family, one team. You win or you lose together. I'll talk about 3 things in like maybe 3 minutes or 6 minutes. Because I say food is late, but it's also not advisable to eat past this time. As a physician, I may advise you to fast. But I know today, because in ceremonies like this, 3 things are important. 1 is that you ate, 2 is that you took pictures, and 3, what's the third one? You know? the parties that will be waiting for you at home. But it's late, so I don't know whether you will have that. Maybe tomorrow. 3 things I want to talk about. One, of course, my job, the government. Everyone talks about the government. Okay? Since God created man and animals and earth, people have to organize themselves in the way in which they do things. So there's nothing that you will ever do in your life that will succeed without government. It will never ever happen. Even when you become a businessman, like Elon Musk or Zuckerberg or Bill Gates, or even here in Kenya, I don't know what the businessman you want, you know. At a certain point, you succeed or fail based on government. So that's the first thing you must learn. You want to be the best neurosurgeon? Government. I've sat with Mr. Lunya here when we were reviewing the benefit package. We sat in a small place at Cafe Delhi at Nairobi Hospital. Government. You will never ever avoid it throughout your life. Just go and think about what I said tonight, even if you were too hungry or angry to listen. Government. It's the most important thing, as long as you're alive and you're within a boundary called a country, whether that country is the US or Kenya. You'll go to the US and you'll be deported. Government. Now, this thing called government has placed healthcare as a key agenda in economic transformation. What does that mean? That health shouldn't be the reason why people get poor, but that health should also be a reason why our economy grows. Only those two. Now, to do that, there are 4 priorities. Number 1 is that we must have money to pay for our health. For us to have money to pay for our health, we must mobilize that money. But now Kenya became a middle-income economy. Middle-income economy means that when you go on a begging bowl with Malawi, which is not as adored as Kenya or another country, you are not given. So it means that however poor we think, however suffering we think we are, we must squeeze ourselves to put a pot or a basket of money for us to pay for healthcare. That is where the Social Health Authority comes. And you as a doctor that is graduating today, your success or failure depends on the ability of your citizens to pay for their healthcare. Mr. Lonya, did I say it right? That's government. Now, it is your responsibility to align, because if you don't align, you are the one who suffers. I know that didn't come out nicely. Now, it is also your responsibility to choose your government. Now that came right. But for you to choose your government, you must do certain things. You must understand government. So the way that you pay for healthcare, government, is extremely magnificent because we have the tools that we need to succeed. But it is also extremely broken. Extremely broken. We are trying to fix it, but the person who will fix it is really you. The president sets the agenda, but it doesn't do the work. It's you to do the work. So you align, you shape it, you say this one is not working well, and then it finds an equilibrium, homeostasis, the power of balance. Okay? Only a physiologist can tell you that. So, healthcare financing, very key. Don't ignore it. The second priority, health workforce, that is you. So you can do everything, have the money. If you have the money but this hotel doesn't have the food, okay? your money is not useful, right? You came here, but they don't have the food, so there's no dinner. Now, the person who cooks the food is the health worker. And you know healthcare is a factory, but the product is a service. Now that service is the interaction between the patient and the doctor or the nurse, clinical officer. That interaction, that's what they call healthcare. Healthcare is nothing else than that interaction. That interaction is, you can't touch it. Now that is why some people think it is complex, but it's actually really simple. It's just like waking up and greeting your neighbor. And you can greet your neighbor when you're smiling. You can also refuse to greet your neighbor. You have actually greeted your neighbor, but you're wearing a frown face. Your neighbor is like, hey, this guy. That interaction. Now that interaction is where Mr. Lunya was talking to you about many things, and I will not say more than he has said. The third thing is that you need the tools to work. You need a building like this, called a hospital. That building must have a CT scan, it must have drugs. That is where science and private sector comes in. Government doesn't run any manufacturing. Government does not do any business. There are opportunities there. You want to come into it? Learn more about that. Government. The last thing is that healthcare is based on evidence. But we've done it sometimes in a way that only the science has been based on evidence. So right now we want not just the science, but the practice of healthcare itself, the policies, to be based on evidence. So we're establishing single source of truth through digitization, so that the patient, the product, the professional, the provider, that's the hospital, all of them have identifiers. And there is no argument between you and I on what happened. There is no different report between the Ministry of Health and AMREF, the way it has been. We are digitizing. And right now we know that JOTRH, thousands of patients passed, they got a prescription, they did not get medicine. We may not be using that information, we'll be using it soon, but we have it. I went to Kakamega, the governor was very surprised when I was telling him that 52,000 patients have gone through the hospital, only 9,000 got medicines. Single source of truth. But what we do with that data is a big opportunity. That's where researchers, everyone will come from. The analysis. You are Gen Z people. So today I'm just opening your minds. I want to talk about the second thing. The second thing I want to talk about is what I've talked about to graduating classes and health workers all the time. Really, what will help you tomorrow after this dinner, when we leave here, when you're in the hospital. Many of them have told it to you, so I'll just summarize it. 3 things. Number 1, you've already been told, humanize medicine. In a country like Kenya, we have distant healthcare from the people that need it. We've made ourselves not part of society. If you are interested in arts, just be part of society. But also in the hospital, be human. I think I can't explain it better. Humanize healthcare. That is the greatest need now. By the way, everything can be done by AI. Can I shock you guys? I have just established in my office what I call a PS assistant, principal secretary assistant. I've given it instructions of every single decision a principal secretary can ever make. And I've given it the evidence and the tools that it needs to refer from. And you know what it does? It actually makes the decisions. But you know what it can't do? It can't humanize those decisions. Your profession is going to depend. It will no longer be some theory of people talking to you or whether you did it or not. You don't humanize medicine, you're gone. Doesn't exist. The second, you must learn to take the road that is not taken. There's a poet who wrote, I saw two roads, Robert Frost. Go read that poem. Robert Frost. Go read that poem. Take the road not taken. And your practice will thrive. When I was at Moi University, just 15 years ago finishing, do you know the shocking truth? There was no MRI at Moi University in Eldoret. Of course, now there are a lot of things. Right now in Kisumu here, none of you have seen a PET scan. Cyclotron. Have you? None. True or false? Even a computer. Yeah? So, can I shock you, and to the respect of all my seniors? If you follow our advice, you fail. Because you're practicing in a different time. Your Gen Z say, disloyal, impatient, blah, blah, blah. Sending things in a second and blocking, yeah? But within all of that, find the road that is not taken. How is this AI going to affect healthcare? All this data that Dr. Luga has, I have a lot of data. By the way, NHIF is sitting on loads of information. Zero utility. The road not taken. It will make you useful to humanity. It will make you be a billionaire, like Vitalis always tells you, if you want to go that path. The road not taken. Insurance, pharmaceuticals. I keep talking to doctors, and I think with the way we are setting up our healthcare, it is no longer fashionable to just come, take a room here in a building, open a clinic. For what? Do we lack clinics? Maybe we do. It's you to answer. It's not really me. I could be wrong. I've already told you that if you followed our path, you will fail. Yeah? And I've challenged my seniors, for example. We have a lot of unemployed doctors. You know why? Because we have followed the same path to employment. We followed the same path to employment. Lawyers walienda, they went, changed some things in the constitution. Accountants went through the back. Nowadays, economists are the most powerful in their decisions. You know, there's something there. There's a knowledge there. And I don't know it. Mr. Lunya doesn't know it. Dr. Ganda doesn't know it. You have to know it. You know why you have to know it? Because you must survive. We went to the union. I was student leader. 2009, I was the president of medical students in Kenya. Then we formed a Facebook group. That time Facebook just came up, called Doctors Against Poor Pay. That's how the union started. I was the president of medical students. I did a huge conference in Eldoret. Students came, doctors came. Then we said, no. Professor Nyong'o, your governor now, was the medical services minister. He was so gracious. I wrote a letter to him as the president of medical students. And then he replied and actually came. You know, I placed his reply on the notice board just so that students could know that they have a president that has some, you know. He actually replied my letter. And he replied it in one paragraph, that I have acknowledged receipt of your letter on this date. I confirm attendance of your conference. That was it. Straight to the point. He came. He stayed with us until late today, like at 11, like this. Many of us were angry. Some students were throwing things at him. He spoke. Many of you may be angry at me. You don't even maybe listen. It's physiology, by the way. It's not about you. It's about you sat for long. Many people have told you things. Some are boring, some are interesting. Maybe the one I'm saying is the most boring. So he came and spoke to us. And you know Prof. How many people know Prof? He spoke. And you know one of the things about Prof is that he's extremely candid. He asked us, okay, so now you people, he was the Minister for Medical Services. 15 years later, I am the PS for Medical Services. Now, he asked us, but what have you done about your problem? What have you done about? It was semi-insulting, semi-inspiring, somehow, you know, what you Gen Zs call injecting. He injected us. What have you done about your problem? Does that ring a bell with taking the road not taken? The next year we registered the union. That time, our only problem was the pay of doctors. 7 out of doctors used to quit. So we changed that. Your problem may be different. 206,000 that you are earning, we negotiated it. Dr. Bondi has told you how much they supported me, and I'm eternally grateful for that support. But you know what? Because we showed character and leadership, and the road not taken, and people rallied and said, this must change. Okay? Maybe that's not the method for you. Maybe it is. I don't know. But you have to do something. So what are you doing about your problem? Every generation only solves their problem. Take the road not taken. It can mean anything. It can also mean nothing. The last thing about it is take up leadership. Everything is solved or not solved based on leadership. A leader comes and says, we can be like Singapore. That is leadership. Another one can come and say, Kenya has a big debt problem. The taxes we pay are not enough. Let's just survive. Luga can come and say, all right, these doctors are difficult, hospitals cannot change. Nothing can happen. When I took up as PS, do you guys remember, maybe you don't, that we had lacked vaccines for 3 months? By the way, I was telling somebody yesterday, Kenyans no longer remember that there was a vaccine problem. Yeah, they you know, pediatricians do, but they don't. The problem was solved, but it takes leadership. Why was it there before? These guys had striked for so long, but the doctors are very rich. 3.5 billion in their pockets. Yeah, they're very rich. Arrears. They have pocketed the rest. But there are many other things, and it's just leadership. But the road where we are going requires you to take up leadership. Now, leadership, somebody once asked me, what does it mean? Now, the Australian Medical Association defines it exactly the way Mr. Olunya talked to you about. It means you influence. It means you advocate. It means you stand in the gap. It means you bring the thought. It means you do. It doesn't mean position. Many Kenyans want positions, but they don't want the work. Very many people want the position, but not the work. Now, that's not leadership. Take up leadership. So I'll go to the last thing tonight. I mentioned, and it's been said by Hezron, you know, we've come a long journey. When I left Kijabe, I went to Outspan Hospital in Nyeri. You know why I went to Outspan Hospital? Because there was a resident, like a registrar who was at Kijabe, Sam. And he was working for Outspan. And then Outspan, because he had just now graduated as a surgeon, that position was remaining vacant. So I went to Outspan. Now Outspan was paying me, that was 2012, Otspan was paying me 230,000 shillings because he had risen to that position. He'd worked with them for 10 years, so his salary was very high. So when I went in, he just gave me his position. They were paying me 230,000, which if you tax was coming to 167,000. It's quite a lot of money. That time, doctors were earning 78,000. We had just increased their salary, courtesy of Vitalis. I did that. Now, the person sitting next to you could be the most valuable person. Every single day when you meet people, they could be your asset or not. People. That's it. What did I say? People. That's the greatest asset on earth. Knowledge is just number 2. People. You've heard what I said? Yeah. People. And so, tonight, as you take your dinner, as you go out tomorrow, as you wake up, as you treat patients, remember? People. They open doors, they also close them, by the way. People. For me, I want to congratulate you. We will be there as the people will open your doors. And we plead with you also to open the doors of other people. The people that don't know anyone. They can't call an MC, they don't know anyone to tweet on their behalf. That's how countries develop. People. People. The ideas of people. How people come together. How people work together. People. So what kind of a person will you be to people? That's your assignment. Congratulations, be blessed.
Let's keep clapping and appreciating our peers. Thank you so much, sir. Now, since sugar levels are low, I can see somebody rubbing. Mr. Olunya is rubbing his tummy. All right. I want somebody to pray for the meal. Daktari. And Tagiri, move closer.
Okay, let's pray. Lord, we thank you for today. Thank you for the gift of life, the gift of fellowship that we've had, and even for the food that has been provided. May you bless the hands that made it, and may you bless the food as we partake. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Okay, we'll now ask our faculty and guests to serve first, and then the new doctors will join us. I say 001, 8 PS2. May I also recognize the presence of Dr. Gabriel Oma, gynecologist from Georgia Rich. Dr. Gabriel, you're most welcome.
To our guests, please. There's supposed to be a faculty picture to take 30 seconds. Hi, Prof. There's a faculty picture and then we have a guest picture. That should just take 30 seconds and then I can go and have your meal. Yes, right here. So, where's our faculty, please? The faculty. I think we can start. The faculty, please, and then with our guests. Yes. There's a faculty picture first and then faculty, please. Faculty, please. Yes, group joining
Yes,